beautiful morning here in the hole. I've got a 1,500 foot climb, threshold climb, zone 5 through 7. So I'm going to progress my effort today on this climb. It's steep and I'm just going to keep getting harder and harder. So a lot of time at threshold, and then I'll finish it a little bit above threshold, and then we've got a fun ridge run to take you on today. So it's a beautiful fall day. You can see this is facing kind of northwest, and over there's Teton Pass over in Idaho, and just a different view of the hole today for you. What we're going to talk about today is I did a video on 2 ways to get your speed a few days ago, and I had a couple questions on. We talked about how it's important to provide force into the ground to propel yourself forward, but I had a question about if that provides too much force in the landing. And we're going to talk about a very, very subtle thing, or a subtle change that you can make with your run form that's going to be profoundly beneficial for reducing the force upon landing and helping your force going forward, which ultimately will help with injury prevention as well. All right, so that's the message today. We're going to get into that, but I've got this climb to get over with. I'm just finishing up my warm-up. Stopped in the sun. You can see it beautiful. Things are starting to really change. Things are starting to really change around here. Sun's peeking over Snow King, and I've got to climb. We're gonna head up to the ridge up here. It's a nice, perfect morning, so let's go. Thought I would get away without talking about shoes, didn't you? All right, let's talk shoes. I've got my trusty Dynafit Feline Up Pro today. 4mm drop. These are a very precision fit. You can see how kind of a curved toe box. It's not a super wide toe box, which is what I like and why I call it precision fit. This is really kind of a lockdown shoe, really good for hard pack, and maybe more importantly, alpine, very rocky, very technical terrain that I'll see as I get up to our ridge. And this is a shoe that I pick for those short, faster runs where I want to have a lot of precision, not necessarily maybe really super long runs, but again, I just want to be able to perform and run fast, slow, whatever I need to that day, but I want that precision fit. So here goes a rider going up. Have a good ride.
Thank you.
So again, I picked the Dynafit shoe today. It's perfect for this type of run. A lot of performance involved. So, all right, here we go. Such a perfect morning. Feeling really, really good. Breathing's good. Gonna have a good run. And gonna start climbing. All right, coming up on my climb, start of the climb. It's kind of a good warm up. It's gonna be a grunt, but for those of you who maybe are a Salomon S-Lab Sense fan and use that shoe but got frustrated with durability, specifically the outsole, this Dynafit shoe has a very, very similar fit and feel, which with much, much better durability with the outsole. So something you might want to look at. Here we go. Whew. I gotta catch my breath. Zone 7. Wow, felt good, but had an intense stability disc workout yesterday for the legs, and they felt it that last 5 minutes. Ooh, foaming from the mouth. So that was 1,000 feet, 2 miles, under 20 minutes. So that's really good for that type of climb, that grade. And now you can see the south end of the hole and it's trail that's leading to the ridge. So we're just gonna go right up along that ridge. And then, like I mentioned, injury prevention significantly depends on how much impact we have as we run. So when I talk about providing force into the ground to propel yourself forward, to be healthy and to be fast, this does not mean on the landing. It's the landing and then the force. Okay, so we're going to talk about that subtle change and what you can try on your own to see where you're at with how your force impact is when you land and strike the ground to help with injury. All right, we're off. Wow, this is my favorite section of trail close to home. You can see we just did this ridge right here, all the way along here. It's just so aesthetic, close to home, close to town. You can see the whole back country here. Just over this ridge is Jackson Hole town, and right down there where all the ponds and waters are is home. And this is the southern part of the valley in the hole. You can squeak into Tetons way over there. There we go, there's the Tetons. So just is classified as those perfect runs, right? They're all good, but man, this is awesome. So the message today, like I mentioned, I think it was 2 videos ago, I did a video on 2 ways to get your speed, and I'll link this at the end of the video, so check that out if you haven't. But I talked about in that video about providing force into the ground to propel yourself forward, to gain speed and your distance per stride. And I want you to try this, because this is a subtle adjustment that we all can make based on what you're typically used to doing to help, like I mentioned earlier, with minimizing the force that you provide into the ground on your landing. First and foremost, your forefoot strike is going to minimize and shock your body on the landing, and why forefoot to heel strike is the proper way to land. But there's some, again, like I mentioned, a subtle thing that we can do to see if we're still providing too much force into the ground upon the landing versus waiting until after the landing to propel yourself forward with force. So I'm going to put the camera down and I'm going to demonstrate this so you can try this at home. All right. Okay. It's very simple. All I want you to do is to run in place. I want you to notice if you naturally go to running in place by kicking back or coming here. So try that before I explain it. Okay, so what did you naturally do? Did you naturally go to running in place like this or like this? Okay, we want to be here. Try it again, try both of them, and notice how much force there is into the ground by kicking back. You can almost hear it. Versus bringing the knees up in front of us and landing much softer on the ground before we push to go forward. So try that, notice that difference. Again, this is very, very force dependent on the landing by kicking back. We also often hear, hey, have a good kick. We don't want to have a lot of kick, okay? It's land and push. So if you're just kicking back and just bringing your foot straight back underneath you versus getting this motion, your impact might be too great, okay? So switch it from here to here. And again, notice just how that naturally feels. It feels better. We're catching ourselves, okay? We're using our ankle, knee, and hip as our suspension system. And then all you want to do is just run forward. Okay, I don't have a lot of space here to work with, but have other videos on that, okay? The key is we don't want to just lift our legs. We want to be here, but provide force into the ground to go forward. So it's not just like this, okay? Drive. Once you land, drive force into the ground to go forward, but get that mechanical action with your knees here rather than here. And rather than, again, just kicking back and just bringing it back, we want to bring it through. Strike, bring it through, okay? Super subtle, but super key, super important. This is also why it's important to not be instructed to lean or fall with gravity as we run. There is a lot of absorption into the ground there. That's a lot of stress, okay? We don't want to lean, we don't want to fall, okay? We want to propel, don't fall. Same concept. If we're falling, we're using gravity, we're having to brake significantly versus propelling. Okay? So try that simple test out. See where you're naturally gravitated to at first, but then make that change of bringing your knees up in front of you and finishing out your cycle of your gait. And notice how you can really dramatically feel the difference in impact from kicking back and having the heels towards your butt versus knees out in front of you, okay? And it's what I call driving the knee forward, okay? It's not just a lift up, it's a drive forward. What goes forward must go back, okay? Drive that knee forward. That also assists in your stance leg to drive force into the ground. That's where the what goes forward must go back comes into play. Driving that knee forward and in front of you is going to help propel you forward and minimize your force on the landing and maximizing your force on the takeoff. Very subtle, but very, very important. So try that out. Let me know what you gravitated to, and we'll dive into it. So awesome. All right, my playground. I am out of here, going back to the ridge. Gonna do the ridge again. I might do it again even. It's so fun, and it's a good time to work on my skills. So all right, thanks everybody. Keep sending your questions, they're super helpful. Again, a question that I received on the comment section helped me provide this content. It's something that maybe I didn't necessarily think about initially to provide into some videos, but when I get questions from you guys, they spark how I can coach you guys, okay? And that's what this is. It's hearing from you guys, figuring out what you need, and then relaying another message to you. I'm the messenger, you be the courier. Pass this on, okay? That's how we all can be a team to create more runners in this world, okay? One runner, let's go. All right, I'm back on flat ground and just wanted to add this to something that you can try to kind of encapsulate everything that we're working on. So you've got your running in place. So running in place is a great way for you to understand forefoot to heel strike, but also everything we're talking about today. So simply run in place, knees in front, driving forward, and then just run forward. Run in place, run forward. Run in place, run forward. Give that a try.